Having the ability to write is a fundamental skill which a person needs to acquire. Today, it is often argued that the necessity to acquire the skill of writing is no longer applicable. This is because of our complex, high technological world. Despite this, the importance of writing is no less valid or practical. Therefore, if a student has a writing difficulty, it becomes detrimental to their progression in the classroom and in later life. In order to write, controlled fine motor skills and information processing are abilities which are used. Without being able to adequately develop these skills, a student may effectively have a writing difficulty. This can develop from dysgraphia, a writing disability. However, this is not always the origin of the difficulty. It can develop from a range of factors which are both intrinsic and extrinsic. These including teaching methods, time allocated for learning, language ability, and cognitive ability. The effective factors of this difficulty can be detrimental to the overall well-being of the student. These are often neglected aspects of a writing difficulty. The self-esteem of the individual due to their incompetence in being able to adequately write is a severe connotation of the difficulty. Motivation and attitude towards their learning is diminished, and their ability to learn across the curriculum is affected. Early identification and intervention can somewhat prevent these factors from occurring. This can be done through a variety of ways. As a teacher, continuous viewing of students' written work is a necessity. Various ways this can be identified in lower primary schools is through aspects such as students avoiding writing tasks and their letters are poorly formed. In upper primary school, students' writing is slow and tiring, and the structure of their writing is poor. Formal assessment of writing difficulties is done through specific approaches, the most common being the Test of Written Language 4th edition, which accurately assesses the mechanics of writing. Fine motor skills are assessed through the Purdue pegboard, as the child's ability to manipulate the small muscles of the hand are measured. In regards to the individual's overall literacy, the functional assessment of literacy can be implemented, as it also examines phonological processing skills, working memory ability, and processing speed. Some authorities dispute the notion that there is a problem with literacy standards in Australia. Thorough research shows that there is ample evidence to the contrary. Reading, writing, and arithmetic are the 3 R's of basic skills in education. The National Commission of Writing considers that writing is the neglected R within these skills. The research correlates what is actually happening at schools in terms of student achievement in writing. This again highlights the issue of writing progression for our students. The development of legislation acknowledges equality for all children. Article 23 from the Convention on the Rights of the Child recognises that a child shall receive support due to disabilities and/or difficulties which that child may attain. The Australian curriculum further ratifies the Convention due to the strong recognition it has in terms of the acknowledgement of the Disability Discrimination Act 1992 and Disability Standards of Education 2005. As well as this, the social model of disability is another consideration that needs to be made. By making physical, attitudinal, social and communication adjustments to the classroom environment, students can thrive when the appropriate measures are introduced. Explicit and structured teaching is the most appropriate pedagogy to enforce with these students. This is due to student-centred approaches being ineffective for these learners. These require independent learning capabilities which these students tend to not possess. Writing skills are left too much to incidental learning and informal methods. Handwriting needs to be taught explicitly to students through lessons such as guided writing. They also need to be given many opportunities to write. The 2 approaches to teaching writing include the skills-based approach and the process approach. The process approach is deemed to be more effective because of increased engagement of students in writing for real purposes of interest to them. Struggling writers lack effective strategies for writing, which the process approach targets. The actual process of planning, drafting, and finalising is made explicit to students. Encouragement and feedback to students is a large part of this role as the teacher in this. Having awareness, being persistent, and implementing these strategies in the classroom to support students with writing difficulties can help them achieve and become the best student they can be in their school and future lives.